So hello everyone, hope you are doing good. Welcome back to my channel, and today is day 31st of the daily Leetcode challenge. This is the last day of the March daily Leetcode challenge, and if you have been consistent till now, then definitely congratulations to you. So today we have a hard level question in front of us. It's question triple four, one triple four. Number of ways of cutting a cake. So what? Sorry, a pizza. So what's given here is we are given a pizza and we are given the number of cuts. So you must be knowing if I have k minus 1 cuts, then the number of pieces which will be getting formed is k, right? Always one piece getting the number of cuts. So the question asked is if I am given a cake, I need to make k minus 1 cuts such that the k pieces which are getting formed should have at least one apple in each of the pieces. There are how many ways of doing it? So I will again repeat. See, we are given a two-dimensional array, which is a pizza in this case. The pizza has apples in some of its vertices, right? Some of its boxes. So what the ask of the question here is we are given a number k, right? We are given a number k, which represents the number of pieces which should be formed after making k minus one cuts. But the k pieces should have at least one apple. And how many such cuts are possible? This is the question. So what we are given a pizza representing a two-dimensional pizza. Here rows and C ROWS and COLS, these are the rows and calls. So 0 to rows minus 1 is the number of rows, is the index of the rows, and 0 to calls minus 1 is the index of the columns. Okay, it's a matrix containing the following character A and dot. What is A? A will represent the apple. See, this is how the input will be given. I hope you are able to see this. A is the apple and dot represents there is nothing in that. Okay, nothing in that location. So pizza is a two-dimensional array, right? And dot represents the empty cells and a to an integer k. You have to cut the pizza into k pieces using k minus 1 cuts. And what the ask of the question is return the number of ways of cutting the pizza such that each piece contains at least one apple. I will again repeat return the number of ways of cutting the pizza. How many pieces? K pieces, such that each piece contains at least one apple. And finally, the whatever is the answer, we have to do it modulo by 10 power 9 plus 7, right? This is a prime number. When we have to do modulo, it will come in the range which will be like containable in an integer value, right? That's what they are saying. There is one like another condition which they are giving. See, suppose I make a vertical cut. Okay, so imagine a pizza. I'm making a vertical cut. Always there will be two forms formed. One is the upper half. One is the bottom half. Okay, so they are saying whenever we make a horizontal cut, there will always a upper half and a bottom half, right? So they are saying whenever you make a horizontal cut, always the upper half only will be given to the person, not the bottom half. The bottom half can be further cut. Okay. Similarly, if you make a vertical half, so there will be right portion and a left portion. They are saying whenever you do that, only the left portion will be given to the person without further divisions, and the right portion can be further divided. So what that means? So if you are going to make a vertical cut, the left portion will be given undivided to the person. We can't make further division in that. Similarly, if matrix is there and if we are making horizontal cut, the topmost portion only will be given to the person. We can't do further divisions on that. So for example, this is the pizza given to us. See the values how it is given. A dot dot. This is the first apple and two dots. So that means they are blank. Then three apples and the last row is null. Okay. So three apples, the last row is null. So how many ways of doing it? See, I can make a horizontal cut between row 1 and row 2. This is they are doing here. So the upper portion will be denoted now. So it is removed here. Right? Now I can make a vertical cut between column 1 and column 2. So this leftmost will be denoted to a different person and these two apples will go to the last person because they are given KS3. Okay, this is one way. So these are the another ways. I can do same a horizontal cut between row 1 and row 2, and I can do a vertical between row 2 and sorry, a vertical cut between column 2 and column 3. Similarly, in this last way, here they are doing a vertical cut between column 1 and column 2, and finally a vertical cut between the remaining two columns. Okay. So how to do this? See, there it's a very big question. There is no optimized approach to do it. Even in the official solution, they have given a brute force approach using the dynamic programming. They are using a three-dimensional array basically. So I will just quickly go through it and I will just explain you how it works, right? See, it's a hard level question. It's a very, very hard level question and there is no optimized approach for it. So if you are asked this in an interview, what so first of all, if you are a fresher, this kind of question you should not expect in an interview. Okay, they will test your like understanding and implementation. See here, these things, it's like a luck only. I will say because thinking of the dynamic programming approach and doing it is definitely not easy. So my advice to you will be if you are a beginner, just try to understand what the official solution is because it's you can treat this as an example question which has an answer given, right? You can treat this example question. Definitely, the questions in the interview will be slightly lower than this, which will has multiple ways of doing it. In this type of questions, we are stuck with only one way of doing it, right? So coming to the answer, see, I will define apple size. See, if I want to know what my apple size will be, see, if I want to know how many apples are there from 0 comma 0 till the last row and last column. See, from 0, that means all. See, I will show you in diagram. See, suppose I want to know from A1. See, all the from A1, starting from A1 till the C3. Okay, how many apples are there? That will be called apples of 0 comma 0, because see, we are starting from the zeroth row and the zeroth column till the last row and the last column. How many apples are there? That is called 0 comma 0. What will be 0 comma 1? That means starting from the zeroth row but from the first column. See, the green line here represents this apples of 0 comma 1. It will start from the zeroth row. It will contain all the rows, but similarly it will start from the first column. It won't contain the zeroth column. It will start from the first column till the last column. Okay. Similarly, if you can guess, this green boundary represents a of 1 comma 0, because we are starting from the first row, not from the zeroth row, and we are containing all the columns. And if you can answer, this is going to be apples of a comma 1. So, what I was trying to make you understand is how apples I am defining. Apples of 0 comma 0 means starting from the zeroth row to the zeroth column till the last row and the last column. How much of apples are there? That will be in my apples of 0 comma 0, right? So, I am trying to find a concurrence relation of it. So, what is that? To get apples of 0 comma 0, I can use this relation. See, just try to add image 2 and image 3. Image 2 is apple of 0 comma 1, and this is apple of 1 comma 0. Just try to add these two images. What you will find? You'll find that this B2, B3, C2, C3, these are getting two times added, and A1 is missing in both images. See, I'm telling just add this green boundary. Okay, what you will find? B2, B3, C2, C3 are two times added, right? And at the same time, B1, A1 is totally missing in these two images, right? So how to get to the whole picture of it? So what I will do is I will add picture 2 with picture 3, and I'll subtract from picture 4. Okay. So if you can see, this is the picture 2, this is the picture 3. I'm subtracting from the picture 4. But A1 was missing, so this is how A1 I will try to contain it. Then I will get apples of 0 comma 0. Okay. So if you take this apples of 0 comma 0 as apples of row comma column, and this will become rows and column plus 1. This will become row plus 1 and column apples of, right, and this will become apples of row plus 1 and column plus 1. So this is the concurrence relation getting formed. See, just rewind the video and try to see. Okay, I am sure you will be able to get it. This is just a match, right? There is nothing here. We are adding this image to an image. Just try to imagine in your mind and try to add it, and we are subtracting from this, right? And finally, because both the images do not have A1, that's why I have to separately add this part, right? So this is how it is being done. I will explain how it's contributing to the code, but this is how it is being done. And see, always remember, we won't start it from the zeroth index. We will start it always from the bottommost element, which is C3, right? This will be in turn will learn from the last index. Okay, it will go from the rows minus one index to the zeroth index. Similarly, from rows minus one columns, sorry, columns minus one columns to the zeroth column, right? That's how it is being done. And one more thing which is very important is, see, you will be thinking how this last box C3 will be calculated. We will not take apples array of this size 3 comma 3. If my matrix is pizza is 3 comma 3, I will take 4, sorry, one more than. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will take a 5 comma 5 of it, right? This is what they are doing. They are adding rows one here and they are adding a column extra to the bottom. Okay. So after C there will be a column. Similarly, after row 3 there will be another row. Okay. So sorry, it will be 4 comma 4 extra. So that will be initialized with 0. So what we are doing is, suppose I am in C3, what I will do is I will try to follow this relation, and these zeros will be at C. This there will be 0 to the right of C3, and there will be 0 to the right of, sorry, the bottom of C3. That will be added and subtracted. So initially, so this all this will become 0, and if there is apple, it will be added. Okay, this will contribute to that, right? Now coming to how the vertical cuts are being done. See, as I told, if you do a vertical cut, you have to donate the left part, but you have to ensure that the left part has a apple only, then it will contribute to the answer. So suppose I'm going to make a vertical cut between column A and B. See the line which you're seeing between column A and B. This is going to be the cut part, right? Then the number of apples will be shared with the person is equal to the number of apples left in the left portion. Okay. So how to find that? How many apples are there in the left portion? What is apples of 0 comma 0? It will contain all the apples, right? It will contain all the apples starting from zeroth row and zeroth column till the last column. What is apples of 0, comma 1? It will have all the apples from 0th row, but from the first column. If I subtract these two, see, if I subtract the first image with the second image, what I get? Only the leftmost portion, which, see, if I make a cut between column A and column B, what I will be left with? It will be only the column A, right? So this is what we are doing here. So if we have to make a cut, I am going to subtract the first image from the second image. So apples of 0, comma 0 with apples of 0, comma 1. So apples of, to get apples of row, comma col, sorry, if I have to make a, a cut in the call plus one, in the next call, IMC next call is the index, you can say. So what I have to do, apples of row column, which is the total number of apples, minus apples of row and the next call is the where we are making the cut, right? If the portion, it will give you this portion, right? If this portion is greater than 0, it means apples in the left is more than 1, more than 0, only then it will contribute to the answer. Okay, now coming to see how it will be written in code, I will explain you next, right? Now coming to the horizontal cut portion, see, horizontal cut means whenever you do a horizontal cut, just try to imagine in your mind, it will lead to a two portions, the top portion and the bottom portion, right? So in this question, they're saying if whenever you do a horizontal cut, only the top portion should be contributed. So what I will do is, see, if we make a cut, so between row 1 and row 2, see, you are seeing a line, right? Between row 1 and row 2, I'm going to make a cut there. Then the number of apples that will share with the person, okay, will be the number of apples in the upper portion. So this image, if you see, it's apple of 0, comma 0. Just the first three rows and ABC columns you have to see, okay. This is apples of 1, comma 0, okay. Now, if I subtract this, I will get only the first row. This is the idea here. So, because I have to see if this particular thing has more than one apple, only then it will be contributing, right? So, this is what we're doing here. Apples of row, comma, column. See, I have to run the loop. Like, I will be selecting every column. For example, I am showed you between 1 and 2, I am making a cut. But the cut can be made anywhere, right? That's why the follow will like come into place. And to find if it has more than one apple, see, apple row, comma, column, see, 0, comma 0. And next row, see, wherever you are seeing 1 here, right? That will replace with the row where we are making the cut. Okay, next call and the original column. If it is greater than 0, it will contribute to the answer. Now coming to the final algorithm, how we will know the answer. Let us say we are, see, definitely going to use a three-dimensional array. How it is, let me tell you. Let rows denote the topmost row, the column denotes the leftmost column, the remaining part of the pizza, which is row to rows minus 1 and calls to calls minus 1, where rows and calls denote the number of rows and calls in the original pizza respectively. Okay. So I will be using this C. Just try to understand. This question has to be solved using a three-dimensional dynamic problem as a three-dimensional dynamic problem. So the first part is the remain. That means how many cards are remaining. I'm in which row. I'm going to start from which row and I'm going to start from which column. So this two, if you combine, it will give me a box, right? From that box to the like all after from that box to the all. See, if I am at A1, that means from A1, I will go like this. I will go to the end of all rows. I will go to the end of all columns. So I will come here, right? So this is what is that. Let dp of remain row and call be the number of ways to cut the rectangular part of the pizza. That is what I was telling. Starting from row to the last row. Similarly, starting from call to the last call. So this part represents a 2D array. I'm whenever I'm represent see this 2D array, I am going to represent using these two values. Okay, row and call. Whenever I say row and call, it means the portion, this particular portion, from that row to all the rows and from that call to all the calls end. Whatever boxes which are getting covered in this will be covered, right? With remain cards remaining. How many cards are remaining in that? So as you might have guessed, if the remain is 0, that means I have the whole portion. I'm going to without cut, I'm going to give it to a person. Then what is the criteria for it? It should have at least one apple. In that case, if it has one apple, and we are not going to make any cut set because remain is 0. If it has at least one apple, then in that case we can mark it as 1, right? We can count it as a value. So remain 0 when one does not need to make any more cuts. If pizza, this portion contains at least one apple, then dp of 0 and that particular portion is equal to 1, right? Because see, if there are no ways to cut, there is only one way, right? We we have to rename the whole pizza without cutting it to one person. That is possible if because see, the question tells na, whenever you are giving to a person, at least the piece should have at least one apple. So this is what the idea here is. So how to contribute it to the code? See how we initialize the DP array. See, there are, it's a 3D array, right? So this is for the columns, this is for the rows, And this is for the range k. What is k? K will come for the remainder, how many cards are remaining. Similarly, dp of 0 will be two-dimensional array. It is for the columns, and this is for the rows, right? So dp of 0 means what? So if you have 0 cards remaining, right? That means we have the whole pizza. I am not going to cut it, right? I am directly going to give it to a person. The only criteria that it will contribute to my answer is the whole pizza should have at least one apple, right? That's the basic idea behind it. Now coming to the solution for it. See, rows and columns are coming from the pizza dimension, right? I'm defining apples array. It's, as I told, it will be 2D array. And remember, it the only difference between apples and pizza is the dimensional difference. Suppose pizza is n comma n into m, then apples will be n plus 1 into m plus 1. You can clearly see there is a plus 1 coming here, right? There is a plus 1 coming here and here. Now, how to fill this pizza? As I told, we'll start not from 0 but the last row and simulate from the last column and we'll try to fill it, right? So apples over comma column is equal to this formula. How it is coming? I just explained, right? I just explained here. If you rewind the video and see, you will get this, right? See, yeah, this is where I explained you how we are getting it. We are adding image 2 and 3 and subtracting from image 4. This will give me everything other than the A1. So for A1, I am using this part, right? So that is where it is coming from. Yeah, right. So this particular portion we have completed, right? Till here. Now I'm installing the DP array. As I told, it will three-dimensional array. So you can see three dimension. One is for the columns, one is for the rows, and one is for the number of cuts. DP of 0 will be two-dimensional array, right? It's a part of the DP array only. I'm just saying how it's being initialized. So DP of 0 is if we have, see, apples over common column, what will give all the apples starting from the row till the end of the row, starting from column to the end of the column. This will denote a two division, right? If there is at least one apple in that, then they mark this value as int of this means, see, this is going to give a true value, right? If a true or false value, if it's true value, count it as 1, if it's false value, count it as 0. Okay, that is what I've shown here. Yeah, if it will be 1 if there is more than one apple, it will be 0 if there is none apple, if there are no more apples in that region, right? That's what it is. Int of that means int of 2 means that it is 1, int of false means it is 0, right? I'm declaring the mode, which is 10 power 9 plus 7. See, there are three for loops going on here. So if time complexity, if you are going to ask me, it will be of, see, from there only I'm going to say, right? It will be of the range, now O of number of columns into number of rows into number of cuts, right? So three for loops are coming here, but there is one thing here. See, for the apples array, we are starting from the last row and the last column. But for the filling the DP array, I'm going to start from the first row because the DP of 0 is already done here, right? So I'm starting from 1, it will go to the last. Similarly, rows I'm starting from 0 to the last, and calls I'm starting from the 0 to the last. Okay. So here what I'm doing is, see, whenever I'm starting from row till from row till the last row, we can make the cut anywhere, right? Suppose I make the cut in the next row. So what will be the number of apples left in the leftmost portion? This is where we are checking that. And if it's greater than 0, that means it's going to contribute to the answer. So what is value? Value will be the DP value of that particular. If I see, I'm reducing the remain by 1 because this cut is valid, right? Then next row and column, because in this region, how many more cuts are possible with remain minus 1, it will contribute to the answer. Same I'm going to do with the column. See, for remain, row and column are going to remain same, right? Now I'm finding it for the row, that is for the horizontal cut. Similarly, this is going to contribute for the horizontal vertical cut. If I'm going to make the cut in the next vertical column, right? How much in the upper portion, if there is apple, if yes, then it's going to contribute, right? How much it is going to contribute is this. I am again starting a DP, which is, see, this is a sub problem, right? That is what is dynamic programming all about. This is a sub problem to the main problem, right? So I'm reducing remain by 1 and I'm like again finding it out how to do it. Row and next call. Okay. Finally, we are before like allotting the value to the DP value, DP column of the DP box of it. I'm doing a mod, and final answer will be DP of k minus 1, row and 0 and 0. What that means, if I have k minus 1 cuts to make, right? If I have k minus 1 cuts to make in the 0 comma 0, starting from 0 comma 0, see, here I have given the full definition. Remain row column, it means DP of remain row column. It means number of ways to cut the rectangular pizza. See, these two represents the portion, and this represents the number of cuts, right? Similarly, the final answer will be number of cuts, which is k minus 1. K minus 1 means there will be total k pieces, right? And starting from 0 comma 0. So what we are doing is first we are trying to make the apples array. Apples array, see apples of apples of row and column. Apples of m comma n means starting from the mth row and the nth column. The see mth row and nth column, when I say this represents the box, right? Starting from that box to the all the boxes. That means suppose I'm starting from B3, right? Where suppose I'm starting from B3, it will cover to the right all the boxes, to the bottom all the boxes, right? This will be like a 2D region. If we have the number of apples, what is the number of apples in that? That will be the apples of row and column, right? So this is the DP array. We are initializing DP of 0. We are starting it from DP of 1. And this is how we are finding it. We are trying to do every possible horizontal cut and every possible vertical cut, right? And finally, we are like calling all the subproblems. These subproblems will contribute to our answer, right? It was definitely a hard question, and my advice will be just try to understand how it's happening. This I don't think will be asked in like real time interview, because there whenever they ask an interview, there will be multiple ways of doing it, right? There will be multiple options for you to explain your thinking. In this kind of question, this is a dynamic programming approach, but it's like a brute force approach. They'll see the time complexity in it. It's not a optimized approach, right? So just try to understand how it's happening. This will help you understand how DP programs are working, right? Dynamic programs are working. Coming to time complexity of it, as I already mentioned, we are having three follow-ups here, right? So it will be of the order O of number of rows and number of columns into number of ways in which we can make the cut. And see one more thing, while making the pizza array, we are again running two follow-ups, right? So it will be of order. See, this will be added to the time complexity, right? So in the time complexity, watch I told you have to multiply this number of rows plus number of columns. Now coming to space complexity, see we are going to make it DP value, like we are going to show DP which is three-dimensional array. So definitely the sorry, the space complexity will also be of the order number of rows and number of columns into number of ways of cutting the cake, right? Which is k. So yeah, that is all friends for today. Definitely see this is a hard problem. I will not deny that, and even I may not be able to come to this kind of solutions, right? But the thing in interviews, we will have to explain our approach, and definitely this kind of questions won't come because there is no optimal approach for this kind of questions, right? This is what my thinking is. If you have any doubts, please comment below. This solution, if you have any doubts, please do comment below. I will definitely find it happier to discuss with you further, right? So that's all, friends, for today. Thank you.